After visiting over 30 countries in entire Europe, I witnessed natural and human beauties that will never be erased from my memories. But I also saw some very creative tourist scams and all sorts of people trying to take advantage of travelers that came to visit a new country on this splendid continent. People that in their greed of separating innocent tourists from their valuables, developed travel scam methods so creative that one would stand up and clap for their talent, if obviously they were not the criminals they are. I'm not talking about obvious things like taxi scams or taxi cab drivers taking the long way to your destination. No. I'm talking about the real scam artists. In this episode, you'll discover a selection of tourist scams used by con artists all over Europe, from London to Athens, from Lisbon to Moscow. Be aware that, as scary as some of these scams may look, Europe is still a very safe place, especially when you compare it with some dangerous places that we show you in other videos. Time to start with our first and most disgusting scam method. However, before we begin, I would like to ask a small favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. So, the pigeon poop scam, a popular scam in Spain, also known as fake bird poop. The scam location, mostly I saw it in Athens and in large cities in Spain, but also happens anywhere with lots of pigeons around. There is also a financial scam called pigeon drop, so it's important to not confuse both. Here we are talking about bird poop. And Athens is a place prolific for scammers. From the shady types walking around Ammonia, to the common scams targeting tourists in places like Syntagma Square. My family fell victim to criminals there 2 times in a matter of days, and soon I will make an entire video about the safety in Athens. Likely, the pigeon poop scam is not particular only to Athens, but happens in other places where you have the presence of these birds, or similar ones like seagulls. And how it works. Imagine that you're calmly strolling across Syntagma Square in Athens, or La Rambla in Barcelona, minding your own business. Suddenly, you feel something drops in your hair, shoulder, or back. It's some white, sticky, disgusting thing that looks like bird poop. Almost at the same time, an innocent-looking person picks her tissue and helps you to clean the mess, while cursing those damned birds. This is also just a distraction, because this person or someone nearby wants to steal your wallet. This is one of the many distractions used by pickpockets. My father had his cell phone stolen when pickpockets, in fact a group of kids, dropped close to him a cup of soda. The next one is the high fashion scam. This is a scam that happens in fashion capitals like Paris, New York, London, and Milan. While taking pictures or visiting a place packed with tourists, you are approached by an elegantly dressed man that politely asks you for a minute of your time. He then proceeds to explain that he's a shop owner in another place and just attended some important fashion fair or show, but then his credit card got blocked or he just lost his money. Now he needs to sell his high-quality luxury products to go back home. He explained that all the things are original and he's selling them way below the fair price, or the cost he paid, just to raise some money to pay his expenses. Sounds too good to be true, right? Because it is, and the products are fake. And now a very common one, the Bracelet scam. And I am really surprised that still people fall for it. I saw it in Milan, but in Italy it's among the most common travel scams. And there are many variations of this ever-present and very annoying bracelet stuff. Either is the French bracelet, which is often offered for a pair of tourists, scamming 2 people at once. There is the African bracelet of good luck. There is the bracelet from a hidden tribe in the Amazon. You choose it. All of them have a thing in common. Street sellers will call you calmly and politely. They will tell you that this bracelet looks good on you, or on your new friend over there, and ask if you can just try it, until they convince, between smiles and little jokes, you to put it in your arm. Suddenly, they will demand money, sometimes even aggressively. To avoid problems, often the sellers are not alone, people just give them whatever they ask. To avoid this, simply walk away from any pushy vendor before he puts anything on your arm. The next is the Rickshaw tourist scam, which I saw in London, but is also known as the scammers for the tuk-tuk drivers. I was victim of it in London, but I guess it's common in other places too. And anyone that actually lives in the British capital for some time already knows that this is a common scam involving tourists being robbed by the local pedicab, how they call it, or rickshaw drivers. Rickshaws are similar to tuk-tuks, but the first is moved by pedals, while the second is motorized. This is exactly what happened to me during my very first trip to Europe 12 years ago. I took a rickshaw for a very short distance and he charged me multiple times what a taxi driver would charge. I thought the problem was solved, but recently there were multiple reports of overpriced tuk-tuk tours, as well as rickshaw drivers charging tourists £1,000 for a 10-minute trip. Then there is the picture scam. I saw it in Rome, but I also think it's common in multiple tourist areas in Italy and all over Europe. And I talked more about this scam in a previous video called The Most Stupid Thing to Do in 5 European Capitals. Here is how it works. In some popular place in Rome, like the Colosseum, you'll find people dressed as gladiators, emperors, etc. Kids, and sometimes adults, are often attracted to taking pictures with them. They will initially be cordial and even smile for your photo. After that, they will charge you a payment, and if you do not pay, things may turn aggressive. If you call the closest police officers, it might happen that the cops will take the side of the street artists in this case. After all, you were the one that requested to take a photo with them. And then there is the hooker scam or the strip club scam. Reported locations of this tourist scam, as you may guess, are close to red light districts. I will not spend a lot of words explaining this one, primarily because I was never a victim of that, but as a hostel owner, I heard backpackers tell their stories about getting scammed in red light districts like the one in Amsterdam or in strip clubs in Warsaw. In Amsterdam's red light district, scamming is so rampant that you can find some really curious stories on their TripAdvisor page. Things like girls charging $50 just because a customer stepped inside a room. In Poland, often the scam involves strip clubs spiking drinks, the free beer they offer, with chemicals that dump customers and make them use their credit cards to pay huge amounts for nothing, or to just give their credit card details during a dance. Recently, there was a scandal involving US soldiers and officers. The last one is the money exchange scam. Reported location of this, I witnessed in Prague, Czech Republic. It may happen somewhere else, but I didn't saw it yet. And Prague disappointed me, and that was only one of the reasons. There still happens one of those common travel scams that target people who prefer to use cash, like me, instead of a debit card. Never, and I mean never, change cash on the street, especially in tourist areas like the area around the Old Clock in Prague. If someone approaches you in front of an exchange office and offers you a better rate, you can be sure that you are being scammed. You end up with some Eastern European money which won't do much good there. Use an ATM if you need Czech currency, which you will since the euro is not recognized as a legal tender there. Always ask the exchange office how much you get for your money before changing it. Otherwise you might be shocked when you sign the bill and only get half of what you anticipated. Do it before signing anything, because once you sign the bill, you are indicating your acceptance of the offer and cannot request a refund. And before we conclude this episode, a question for you. What you should do if you are a victim of a tourist scam? A. Shout loud your anger on your social media accounts, or B. Find the closest police station. While often we see people choosing A, the most efficient way to recover at least part of your losses is to call the alternative B, the police. Some countries have a special division of their police forces focused on helping tourists. After that, it's fine to vent your dissatisfaction online. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe to our channel for the next ones.